Squeaky shoes. All right. I think we're live. I believe we are. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. We've got answers to your trucking questions here at Decker Truckline. My name is Jessie, and yeah, we're talking Decker Truckline. What kind of job opportunities, driving opportunities we have here, some of our running lanes, the equipment that we have, our benefits, and anything else that's new here at Decker. So welcome. Thank you for joining me. So again, my name is Jessie. This is how this works. It's a Q&A. So if you have a question, put it in the chat. Let's get your questions answered. That's all we're here for, right? Is to make sure that those questions are answered. In the meantime, I will tell you a little bit about Decker and some available positions. But again, I really do like to be specific for you guys coming aboard, and I'll answer them as they come in. If I get on a rant, sometimes I get long in my explanations, but I'll come back around to get them answered anyway. Greg, how are you? Greg Ham says, hello, I'm from the Southwest, Tennessee. Have already been speaking with Bryce. Bryce is a good man. I'm hoping to join the team next week if possible. Awesome. Well, welcome. Welcome in advance. There we go. Well, this is what you can expect. So for someone who's coming aboard to Decker, and just starting out, now being in the Southwest, are you looking to start in the refrigerated or the flatbed? We have a lot of flatbed in the Southwest. Southeast. It says Southwest. Yeah, Southeast. But from Southwest Tennessee. Okay, I got you. I'm a little slow today, but I'm coming around. So in the Southeast, we have quite a bit of flatbed. We do have some refrigerated options, but flatbed is definitely heavy in the Southeast. That said, there are a couple of lanes that run refrigerated too, so that's why I ask. He says OTR refrigerated. Perfect. Okay, so let's give you a game plan on what to expect. And for anybody else who's kind of looking at some options. Now for the refrigerated side, before you start, once you're approved, so say you qualify already for orientation, meaning you don't have any major moving violations, no excessive speeding or erratic lane change. So yeah, no excessive moving violations, no preventable, recordable, DOT recordable accidents, none of that within the last 3 years at least, if not 5. And of course, good work history. We definitely look at your driving history and your work history as well, because we're looking for stability, longevity, and usually that's a good reflection of it. Okay, so that being said, if you don't have refrigerated experience, we can train you in refrigerated as long as you're a recent grad of an approved school. In your case, I'm guessing you already have experience, you're already moving forward. So the next step is to get you over to do your physical and the drug test. So we do both the urinalysis and the hair follicle. We also get an updated physical. Now, if your physical is good for another 6 months and you've had it for 6 months, so the time period on the physical was at least a year, then we can usually use that again, as long as you have at least 6 more months on it. Otherwise, we just get a new one while you're there getting your drug test. Might as well just get a new one on there. 10 months of OTR experience, perfect. So with that being said, we get you going. We have you do your physical, your drug tests, and we do that before you even come to orientation. We'll schedule all of that. We'll make the arrangements. You go take care of it that way. Once you've completed that, you'll also get your online orientation, which is a number of modules. The modules can differ from like video to PDFs or text, and sometimes they're images. And then you'll go through each module, and then there's usually a number of questions related to that module that you need to get correct in order to move forward. So there's several modules that you'll complete on the online orientation. The online orientation saves a ton of time in the classroom. So instead of having to do that in the classroom, kind of waiting around for others who might work at a different speed than you, then you get that done ahead of time, and then when you start orientation, you're all basically moving along at the same speed at that point. These are not big classes. I don't want to give you that impression. They are not. They are pretty, some of them are pretty small. But, we do give an opportunity every week. So that being said, once you've completed your online orientation and you've done the physical and the drug tests, unless, again, if your physical is good, then you just need to get over a long form copy of your physical on over to, in this case, Bryce. And then we can get we can get it signed off on and just use that. Otherwise, we would take care of it. And then from there, what do we do? Then from there, we get you transportation, which comes to answer the question. He goes, can y'all fly me there? Yes, we can. Well, kind of. The reason I say that is, yes, we can fly you. We work with flights. We work with rental cars. Those are usually our main ones, either flights or rental cars. Now, normally when you're flying in, you're usually flying into Des Moines. And then from there, we'll get you a rental car to get you to Fort Dodge. The reason I say that is Fort Dodge oftentimes doesn't have availability for flights. Sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. Most of the time, the airport isn't international. So, anyways, yes, we can arrange a flight for you from Tennessee to probably Des Moines, and then we'll arrange a rental car. We do take in prices for consideration. So what we'll do is we have a repayment agreement that we'll have you review and sign. And part of that is showing you how much it costs to get you to orientation. Now, the repayment agreement is only if you were to leave us within the first 6 months. But it's there. We want to make sure that it's full disclosure, like if you decided to do a flight and maybe the flight was more expensive, and then you saw the repayment agreement and you're like, well, just in case, maybe I want to do the rental car. Now, that being said, a lot of times the rental car might be more, you've got the options. But either way, all of that is part of the process. So we can work with the flight, we can work with the rental car, totally up to you. Now, if you do get a rental car, we do pay for the gas as well. You'll just call in to get the code in order to pay for the gas, so you don't have to front it. We're not reimbursing, which can be a pain in your butt, so we don't have to do that. And then, so that's the process. You usually arrive in Fort Dodge, Iowa, which is our main terminal. You usually arrive there on Sunday night, and then you'll have a meal ticket to go grab something to eat, and then we start orientation first thing Monday morning. Now, because you've completed all those things before you even start the in-person orientation, you'll get an extra $100 for that for you. So you get an extra $100 for completing all that. Plus, of course, we do pay you for orientation, and right now we pay $500 for completing the 3D orientation. So he's got his 10 months of experience. You've got the 3 days. It's 2.5 to 3 days. I mean, it varies a little bit depending on if you have more questions, if we need to spend a little bit more time in certain areas. If for somebody who might be new to our system, our TransFlow system, or the Geotab, anything like that, then sometimes it does take a little bit longer, and we need to go through it. Also, part of orientation is walking through the truck. So maintenance will take some time and walk through the truck with you, because there's a lot of amenities and you need to know how to use them. And you do need to know how to troubleshoot them too in case there's any issues. APUs tend to, every once in a while have an issue. And so even though they are fantastic to have, you got to be prepared. And so we have done our best to kind of prep you for that. We do, by the way, just kind of side note, we do offer some troubleshooting and training tips on our on our YouTube channel. So if you later on are kind of prepping, you're just doing everything you can to get ready, and you want to see some of those, you'll have access to it. Also on our TransFlow app, or our Geotab that we provide, and access through the TransFlow app on your phone, you'll be able to access some of those trainings as well. So easily find them, but it'll get you to the YouTube channel. Anyways, as a total side note. But we'll spend a little bit of time with you, walking you through the truck so that you understand how to use everything. Greg says, do I bring all 3 weeks of clothes with me, or will I have a chance of going home first? I would bring at least 7 days worth of clothes with you. That said, we do try to get you home on one of your first dispatch, if not necessarily for home time, but through the house is our goal. So one of the first, we try to do that. It doesn't always work, and that's why I say make sure you bring clothing. Now we have at our terminals, at most of our terminals, not all of them, we have laundry facilities. So in our over-the-road refrigerated division, that one goes coast to coast, right? So you can run west, you can run Midwest, you can run out east. We don't do a whole lot of the New England states or New York, but every once in a while we might have something there. Like, for instance, southwestern New York, we do have ice cream loads into there. So yeah, like I said, every once in a while you might have something, but most of it's going to be out. Most of it's going to be west and Midwest. So kind of give you an idea, we've got great freight in Washington, like the Seattle area, from Portland, Oregon, up I-5 to Seattle. It's really good. All the way to Spokane, Missoula. We've got a terminal in Missoula, Montana. You'll probably familiarize yourself with Missoula, which I'm in Montana, and that's where I'm based out of, is Missoula. And right now we've got beautiful weather, so let's keep it that way, right? And then we also have a terminal in Bessemer, Alabama. That's more flatbed, but every once in a while we've got refrigerated trailers down there because obviously we run down there for refrigerated as well. And then Hammond, Indiana, Des Moines, Iowa, Fort Dodge, of course, and Mediapolis. So those are our areas. Hey, Bill, how are you? And so we kind of have terminals in a few different locations for you to get you situated. And at those locations, there are, I can't remember, at Des Moines, there isn't. I know Des Moines doesn't have it. We don't have laundry facilities, but it is a full shop. But anyways, the reason I say that is the laundry facilities, of course, are free. If you get to, say, Des Moines, and your truck is getting an A or B service, probably not likely right coming out of the gate, but because our maintenance department is going to go through the truck and make sure everything is in order before they hand it to you. But if you do get to the Des Moines area, we have cars that you can sign out and use and run errands. We'll give you directions to where there are laundry facilities. So we've made cars accessible for that reason. Because we know you've got to either run and grab some food, some groceries, kind of do a few things while the truck is being serviced. So we've made that available to you at a couple of different ones. Thank you. A couple different locations. Bessemer, we have cards available for you to sign out there. Missoula, same thing. Even though some of those have all of the additional facilities, amenities, we still have cars for convenience-wise for you. Okay, so backpedaling a little bit to the orientation itself, not only going through the truck and getting an understanding of that, you'll also meet probably meet Tammy, head of the communications department, and you'll meet some of our management staff, your driver leader. So a lot of you guys are familiar with fleet managers or dispatchers. We have driver leaders because they have a little bit different responsibility, some similar, but they're more coaching and support that way than just handing you off dispatch information. So they're more of a resource to you in multiple ways. Actually, speaking of resource, we also offer an art program, and you don't have to take advantage of it, but it is free and it's a great resource to have because it's an individual. So that person is accessible to you, especially within the first couple of months that you're here, but even beyond that. They're kind of your go-to to help answer questions like, when does your benefit stuff have to be in? Even though a lot of this information you're given during orientation, You're given a lot of information. So we recognize that, and we just want to make sure you know that if you need something, just ask. We're here for you. That's what we're here for. We're the support. That's the benefit of having Decker behind you, right? So if you have questions on certain things, and maybe you couldn't get a hold of your driver leader, or maybe you don't feel it's a driver leader question, that's all right. That's what your ambassador is for. So that's the art program that we have. Very cool. All right. So what am I missing for orientation? Couple of days long. You'll have your driving test as well. When you come in, you'll have your driving test, and then we usually get you dispatched out Wednesday, Thursday morning. Depending on how things go. What if you need additional training, if you need additional work, whatever like that. I wouldn't expect so. You've got your 10 months of experience. We do our due diligence ahead of time, making sure that you qualify. So, but just in case, we have those options. Orientation, once that's completed, like I said, you get paid $500 for completing that. $600 technically, if you include the extra $100 for doing all of the stuff ahead of time. Physical, drug tests, online orientation, which we do ask. He said, you've already got that. You did that this month. Perfect. So you're on a roll. And then we have a minimum pay. So the minimum pay is what you get, what you can qualify for week to week, right? But that's minimum. That is not our goal. So your driver or leader, they're not shooting for this minimum pay. They're shooting for a higher amount for you. So they're looking to get your miles and, of course, your rate of pay, which is based on your experience level. So your rate of pay per mile and the miles you run, they're looking to get that one up here, not that base. But the base is there to protect yourself, to kind of budget and things like that. So it's $1,000. $1,000 gross. So of course, if you, depending on what insurance you have, if you invest in the 401k, depending on taxes, all of those things it's $1,000 before all that. So that's why we're always shooting for those higher numbers for you. If you have questions on that, feel free to ask. So, benefits. Benefits kick in after 60 days. It's a 50% match on the 401k. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield for medical. We have dental, vision, prescription. Great prescription plans. In the last couple of years, we have improved those significantly, and they can, if you're on any prescriptions, they are likely going to save you hundreds, if not thousands, possibly even a month. It's a huge savings because it's $0. Greg says, where will my dispatcher be located? So your driver leader will probably be located either out of Fort Dodge or Missoula, most likely. But I don't know ahead of time because they're at both locations. So it's teamwork is what I'm getting at. It's not, well, you're over the road, so you're automatically based out of Missoula. Not necessarily. We definitely have some refrigerated out of Fort Dodge as well. So very good question. But they'll work together to make sure everything's working in order. So if, say, your driver leader is gone for the day or week or whatever, but they have time off, then you've got the backup who will seamlessly cover you. And then they work with the planners and stuff as well. Yeah, so I want to take a guess that it's Missoula, but honestly, once I say that, it'll probably be Fort Dodge. These driver leaders have recently gone through some extensive, in August, they went through some extensive training. They were considered dispatchers before, fleet managers before, and they went through some rigorous training to make sure that they are going to be able to support you in a better way. They're not just looking at passing on the information to you. They're looking at just maximizing your numbers for you and for the company. So they're looking at it as a management position as well. And then also, speaking of, Home time is something that they really are focusing on as well, trying to make sure that we can accommodate your home time. So 3 weeks out, that's pretty normal for us. 3 weeks out, 4 or 5 days home in our over-the-road refrigerated division. So that's pretty common. What else? What else do I need to tell you? Benefits, like I said, long-term, short-term disability. There's all kinds that you can invest in, kind of dive deep in. But, backpedaling a little bit, that minimum pay that I was talking about, there are qualifications for that. So the qualifications are be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. With the refrigerated division, those 5 days could be Monday through Friday. They could be Tuesday through Saturday. It's not, refrigerated isn't something that we can guarantee you home on the weekends. Flatbed, that's a different story. It's usually either every weekend or every other, depending on the division. But refrigerated, it's not guaranteed on the weekends. So being available 5 days out of the week is being available 5 days between 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 Wednesday morning and Tuesday night. And the reason I say that is because Tuesday night is when you turn in your paperwork, or that you need to make sure your paperwork is in by in order to get paid Friday. So cutoff is Tuesday night, 10 p.m. in order to get paid Friday direct deposit. And it's that Friday that just follows it. What am I missing there? I feel like I'm missing something. That's what I was going to say. The cutoff is on Tuesday night, but as soon as you've completed a load, please get your paperwork in. It makes life a whole lot easier for you and for the payroll department. Okay, and then from there, let me finish answering these questions, and I'll move on up to your next one. So, be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals. So we are not forced dispatch. However, in order to qualify for the minimum pay, there is a dispatch responsibility there for you. You have to be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week, and there's no load refusals in order to qualify for the minimum pay. If you don't qualify for one of these 6 criteria, then you just get your rate of pay per mile in the miles that you ran, which could be better than your minimum pay anyway, but it's just having that peace of mind is what the difference is. Okay. Be available 5 days out of the week. No load refusals. No driver service failures, so no late loads on your part. If it's a customer thing, that's a different story, but driver service related. No CSA violations, no preventable accidents. And again, this is on a week-by-week basis. So if you had a late load on your 3rd week, that's not going to have any bearing on your 1, 2, 3 week, or on your 1st or 2nd week. It's not going to have any bearing on any of the weeks after. It's just that particular week. Okay, and the same with a CSA violation or a preventable accident. All right, so no CSA violations, no preventable accidents. Get your paperwork in on time. One of the biggest, again, Tuesday night, but ideally as soon as you've completed the load. Make sure you've got a good control of your hours of service, like you're well aware of it and you're managing it to the best of your ability. If you have questions or if you need help, that's what your driver leader is for. And I'm missing one. What is my last one? Be available for dispatch at least 5 days out of the week. No load refusals. No driver service claims. No preventable accidents. No CSA violations. Get your paperwork on time. Okay, I had them all. I just couldn't count. But those are the criteria for that. And again, goal is to go higher. So PTO, paid time off. We have vacation. So you'll get 1 week of vacation after 6 months. So at your 6-month mark, you'll get a week's paid vacation. At a year, you'll get another week's paid vacation. At 2 years, you'll get another year's paid vacation. At 3 years, you'll get 2 weeks paid vacation. And you'll continue to get 2 weeks annually on each year on your anniversary until 7 years, and then you'll get 3 weeks paid vacation. We'll go from there. So that's how that works. And that's based off of your numbers. So what you earned the previous year, and obviously dividing that by the number of days and the weeks, that's what you'll be paid on your week off. for on your 1 year anniversary, that type of thing. Which kind of reminds me, on your 1 year anniversary, you also get a penny per mile raise. So you'll get a raise after 90 days. When you first start, you'll get a raise after 90 days, and then you'll get a raise annually. The cap right now is at 70 cents a mile, which in our refrigerated division, you definitely have some growth. If you have 20 years of experience in the flatbed, you're going to start off at the top, at the cap there. So, but yeah, you'll have some growth there, and by that time, who knows? We also have monthly bonuses, so we have the scorecard and our safety bonus, and those are figured. Usually they're figured the month after you ran it. So for instance, we just last Monday, we paid out our scorecard and our safety bonus for September. So everything that was completed, all the miles that were completed in September were calculated and paid out usually the third pay period in October. So that will continue that way. What was I going to say about that? When it comes to the miles that are paid, so you'll get a penny, you can get up to 5 cents more per mile between those two bonuses, the scorecard and the safety bonus. But it's based off of the miles you completed. So for instance, if you were on a load from, let's see, I did look to see how many days were in September. Don't tell my teachers. So let's say you were on a load on the 30th. You're dispatched on the 30th, okay? But you didn't complete the load until the 1st. So you didn't actually deliver it until the 1st. That load right there will actually go on October's numbers, not September. But the same goes on the front side, right? If you picked up a load in August and you didn't deliver it until September, then that, of course, is going to go into your September numbers and it will be part of that bonus. So, okay, there was that. I wanted to remember that. What else was I going to tell you? Equipment-wise, most of our equipment is, it's a newer model. Most of it's 579 Peterbilts. We have a few Volvos and we have a few Freightliners, Freightliner Cascadia Evolutions. So Volvos, they could be in the refrigerated division, you're looking at 860s, 780s. In the flatbed division, 740s. But I don't want to lead you astray or lead you in the wrong direction. The majority of our trucks are Peterbilts, are the 579. And yes, you'll probably see some of those 389s. They are gorgeous. Those 379s, excuse me. But those are designated for some of our veteran drivers who've been here 15 plus years. They've earned them. They got to spec them a little bit. So that's why you see a lot of those as well. But most of our available trucks are the 579 P's. I'm looking at our calendar, which is Steve's truck, and it is a 389. What else? Amenities in the truck. Amenities include APU, which we talked a little bit about. The APU, bunk heater, CB unit. We have televisions with Epic View streaming capabilities. That is company paid. We have microwaves. We have refrigerators. Did I say that already? Microwaves, refrigerators. So those are in all the trucks. Those are in most of the trucks. Our Freightliners do not have, our Freightliners, some of those run on the Opti-Idle, not on APUs. So there's a difference there. And this reminds me too, I do want to remind you, for all of our professional drivers here at Decker, we are updating our scorecard for those drivers who are driving the Freightliners with the Opti-Idle. If you're running a Peterbilt, or if you're running a Volvo, or if you're running a Freightliner that doesn't have Opti-Idle, then ignore what I'm saying because it's not relevant to you. But if those of you who have the Freightliners running the Opti-Idle, we are adjusting the scorecard so it is more consistent with all of the other makes and models that we drive. And that being said, if you have questions, let us know. But you should have received an email on Friday and then another one yesterday within the newsletter. We send out a weekly newsletter too to kind of keep you in the loop. So we'll email that. Can you hear my squeaky shoes? My inserts are so loud. What's the time schedule on orientation? Usually you start orientation on Monday, usually around 7:15, and then orientation, every day's a little bit different, but usually around 4:30. I think the latest is usually around 4:30 per day. And we do put you up in a hotel. We don't shack you up with anybody, so you've got some solo rooms that you can kind of decompress with, just kind of relax, go back in your room. You'll have meal tickets to grab something to eat nearby without having to worry about, what am I going to eat tonight? That'll be taken care of for you. And lunch, we cater lunch, or every once in a while you might go out, but usually we order sandwiches or pizza or something like that. Yeah. What else am I missing? I don't know. Can't remember. Can't remember what else I was going to mention. So we'll figure it out. PTO, we mentioned that. Most of our benefits we mentioned, but like I said, if you have questions on them, feel free to ask. We do have our Doctor on Demand available, so that's available like a teledoc. We have our EAP program, which is our employee assistance program. That is company paid, and that is so free services to all of our Decker employees and families. So it goes beyond not just for our drivers, but all of our employees and their families. To a lot of resources in that one. I mean, there are counseling sessions available. There are resources and webinars. I mean, tons of webinars. So if you podcast, if you listen to anything while you're on the road, we do have satellite, Sirius satellite radio equipped in the truck, but you would have to hold a subscription. Where I mentioned we have streaming TVs on the Epic View, Decker pays for that subscription. So there's a difference there. But anyways, if you listen to webinars or podcasts, you can access some of those as well through our EAP program, which some of those resources can help with estate planning, adoption, dealing with elderly care or substance abuse, or just a number of things available to you. Yeah. All right. I think I got her. So that is the schedule of orientation. And one more time, it should be completed usually by Wednesday evening. How often do the trucks get replaced? Great question. So we've kept the trucks a little bit longer here I'd say the start of, midway through the year. Because of the way that the economy has gone in the industry, we're just being very cautious. Our maintenance program has been great. We have in the past, the average age was about 16 months. So we rotated them pretty often. We extended it just a little bit, so they're closer to between 18 and 20 months. So they haven't been expanded on a lot, but we have held them a little bit longer than we have in the last several years. Or we are holding them a little bit longer than we have in the last several years. So that's one of the changes. But again, maintenance on them is very good. And that being said, we were rotating about every 3 years, 3.5. I think the mileage was probably more of an accurate measure versus the year. And so those were usually around 450, still getting them out of circulation before 500. Yeah, 500,000 miles, for those of you wondering what I'm talking about. Great question, though. Trailers are a little older. Our average age of a trailer, I think, is 5 years. That said, I saw a picture the other day. We do have our 75th anniversary trailer. That one is kind of babied. It's on special. It goes for special assignments, basically. That one is older, obviously, because we're over 90 years old. We are, don't make me do the math, 93? Yeah. So that one is older, but like I said, that one is more of a elite. That one in our Iowa State, which It's only being used for football. Greg says, do y'all have Christmas company party? We do not have a Christmas company party anymore. It's really hard for everybody to get to those anymore because we have grown. You know, when Decker first started, well, I can't speak of when they first started, but I know when Mr. Decker, Mr. Don Decker, still, when he first bought from his dad and uncle, I believe he did more of those, but that was before the Decker companies had grown as significantly as they have. Now we're at about 680 trucks. We've got trucks out of Washington and California and Utah, Alabama and Georgia. I mean, Texas, Carolinas, they're everywhere. Of course, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. You know, so we don't do the Christmas parties anymore. We do try and make sure we get the gifts out to you guys every year. We also do guarantee you home on Christmas. We feel that's extremely important. Christmas, Thanksgiving, we try to make sure that you guys are home for that time. Feel that's more important than the other. So, yeah. But we have in the past. We haven't now. With so much, I mean, it's an election year for one. And then with the way that the economy is, a lot of trucking companies have kind of tightened down the hatches a little bit, right? And I think we've done a great job of that too, making sure that we've grown and expanded in some areas and just been more aware of expenses in the other. So I think that's also part of it. That way we continue to be one of those leading companies out there, right? Financially stable. I like those words. Yeah, but Christmas, want to get you home. We want to get you home for Christmas. So you said you're in Southwest Tennessee. Yeah, so that would be the case. You probably won't start in time. I'm looking at my watches. The 22nd. Okay, so it's the 22nd today. But we are running a calendar contest. So by the end of the month, so by the 31st, that's the cutoff date. We will have all of our pictures in that for anybody who wanted to submit pictures of their truck for the calendar contest. So that sucker is going to be in, and we hope to have those out in time for Christmas as well. Greg says, can you explain what per diem is for? Yes. So did I mention this earlier? I don't remember. So your cents per mile, so say you're starting at 60 cents a mile, okay? So 60 cents a mile, 10 cents of that is per diem. And what you're starting at is going to be based off of your experience level. So whether you're starting at 56 cents a mile or 60 or 70, your 10 cents per mile is going to be per diem. And the per diem is basically non-taxable income. So we're allowed to do a certain percentage or up to a certain amount per mile of per diem. For those of you who are over the road, obviously if you were a local driver, which we don't have a lot of local drivers, but we do have a few of our professional drivers are local. But for those of you who are local drivers, ignore this because it's not relevant to you. But per diem is to help cover some of those over the road expenses. And so having 10 cents per diem, we don't have to tax you on it, so it's non-taxable income. It gives you an opportunity to have a little bit more take home on a week-to-week basis, since you're getting paid week-to-week, instead of at the end of the year, which obviously you can still claim the difference of the max amount at the end of the year. End of the year is an end of tax year. So there's the 10 cents per mile of per diem. I didn't remember if I had said that or not, so I'm glad you brought that up. I said something that kind of triggered a memory to mention to you guys, and now I can't remember what it was. We talked about bonuses. We talked about pay increase. A little bit of running lanes. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Some of the additional, we talked a little bit about the over-the-road refrigerated, but we also have over-the-road flatbed. Our over-the-road flatbed is not as large of an area of a running lane as our over-the-road refrigerated. So over-the-road flatbed really isn't going to go out west. Just know that we keep you mostly mostly east of Denver. So mostly east of Denver. In our more regional positions, it obviously is going to be based off of the region that you're in. Now, that reminds me, we do have some new opportunities that are just opening up. We have our over-the-road refrigerated, of course, we have our over-the-road flatbed. We have a home weekly. So it's still considered over the road, but we can get you home weekly if you live in Bessemer or Birmingham. I have a need for 3 professional drivers out of either Bessemer, Alabama, or Birmingham in our flatbed division. And again, that is a home weekly opportunity. The cents per mile is going to be the same based off of your experience level. And the rate of pay per mile is going to be the same. It's totally based off of your experience level. The miles that you're going to run, obviously, most likely won't be as many as somebody who's over the road, who's out, home every other weekend. Not likely, but I mean, your miles are not likely to be the same, is what I meant by that. But we do have that weekly home time. So weekly home time is what you need, what you're looking for. We have that currently available. 3 positions out of Bessemer, Birmingham. We just opened up that opportunity, just. And so we've got that. By the way, the number that keeps flying across the screen, that's the telephone number to our recruiting department. I should have mentioned this earlier, but that's who you want to call to speak with, to kind of confirm everything and make sure we have something out of your area, that you're within the area for these positions. Of course, Greg, you've got Bryce's number, so that you've got the direct number. This one is more of a recruiting number, so whoever is currently available and not on the phone will be able to answer for you. Okay, so weekly home time in our flatbed division down in Bessemer and Birmingham. So we've got that available. Also we have Midwest flatbed available as well. That one is a minimum pay of $14.50 a week instead of $1,000 a week. So that home weekly that I was talking about, that's $1,000 minimum pay, where the home weekly in the Midwest is $14.50. A little bit different running lanes. You're definitely running shorter runs out of the Chicago area. So Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, and it's parts of it. We're not hiring out of the whole state of Iowa or the whole state of Illinois or Indiana for these positions. Milwaukee is a good location for us as well for this, but it's Midwest flatbed home, usually Friday night or Saturday morning, and back out either Sunday night or early Monday morning. So it's definitely some home weekly opportunities for you. It's $14.50 for the minimum pay. Where a lot of our divisions, there's a lot of growth availability for additional miles. That $14.50 is pretty solid at what I'm seeing for average, but it's the key there is that's going to give you more home time. That's going to give you more consistent home time, like the weekly, versus our over-the-road division. So keep that in mind. If you have more questions, ask our recruiters. We definitely can accommodate. We've got great opportunities there. If you're in Milwaukee, if you're in Chicago, if you're in Toledo, Indianapolis, good spot for us in Iowa City for that Midwest flatbed opportunity. But your rate of pay per mile is going to be the same, whether it's over the road or regional, home weekly. Flatbed, what else? Oh, I almost forgot. We also have a team opportunity. This is refrigerated. So we have one team opportunity for refrigerated. It is semi-dedicated. So if you're like, what is semi-dedicated? We have a dedicated run for our teams that they run, obviously. They're very dedicated to it. It's very consistent. However, when those teams need to get their home time, we need coverage for it. So what I'm saying is we're looking for a team who lives I'm looking down at my notes, from Colorado, so anywhere from Colorado to Illinois on I-80. That's where we need the team to be like based out of. So anywhere from Colorado to Illinois on I-80, we're looking for a team to run refrigerated, and it would be, you have to live in that area along I-80 there, but you're not only running those lanes. So initially you're running over the road as a team, but then when you're covering, this is the semi-dedicated part, when you're covering for one of our teams who are going on home time, then you're going to be doing the dedicated. This is different than our other freight. The major difference is that it's touch freight for the teams. Now, I don't want that scaring you, because the touch freight is you're rolling carts on and off. So they're about 400 pound carts that you are rolling up and down. It's bread. So these are bread loads with two people. Some of our teams, they each take on a cart, and some of them like to do the carts together. That's up to you. That's your call. Choose whatever is the safest for you. But yeah, that's the handling. That's the touch, my quotes, touch freight that I'm talking about. And that is only part of the dedicated. The rest of our refrigerated is no touch freight. So you would be covering our refrigerated teams part of the time, and the rest of the time it would be over the road freight. So but I need a team from Colorado, live somewhere between Colorado and Illinois on I-80. So that's an opportunity for you. And teams, I should probably talk about the pay, right? So teams are paid mileage pay and a mileage bonus as well. And then you also can qualify for both the safety and the scorecard bonus, which is the monthly bonuses that we talked about before. We talked heavily about last week because it paid out last week. So the mileage bonus goes up in increments. So your base pay is 60 cents a mile for the team, right? So it's split 30 cents a piece, 5 cents a piece is per diem. So 25 taxed, 5 not taxed, 5 not taxed. Combine it's 60 cents, right? Okay, so that's the week to week pay. And then at the end of the month, same time frame, the third pay period of every month, that's when we do our bonuses, our bonus payouts. So whether it's scorecard or safety or mileage for our teams, that's how it works. So if you ran as a team, I'm going to give you these increments, but I'm telling you right now, our teams run at that max payout. And I think every single one of them, to be honest with you. I will have to double check, but I think all of them run team miles, not super solo miles anymore. Okay, so if you run between 12 and 14,000 miles for the month, you would get an additional 2 cents a mile split to the truck, an additional 4 cents a mile if you run between 14 to 16,000 miles for the month. 16 to 18 would be another 6 cents a mile, and another 8 cents a mile for anything over 18,000 miles for the month. I believe that last I looked, I know that it was around 25,000 miles for a month for the teams. I would need to double check to make sure if that is still the same, because I haven't checked for a while, because we haven't had an opening for team opportunity for a while. We've been pretty full there, but with the freight and with coverage, we're going to need a little bit more assistance on that. You've probably noticed that in the last couple of months, we've worked really hard to continue to increase those freight lanes for you guys. So more miles, more loads, more miles, that kind of thing. That kind of thing that pays the bills, that one right there. Yeah, play it off like no big deal. So those are our new opportunities. The team refrigerated, the home weekly flatbed out of Bessemer, Birmingham, and what else? And then our Midwest flatbed. That one's not new, but we do have availability there. When did you say the pay period starts and ends? It starts on Wednesday morning and ends Tuesday night. So Tuesday night, I'm telling you 10 p.m., but I think it's actually midnight. So Tuesday night is the cutoff. and that all your paperwork has to be in. But again, please make sure, if you can, please get them in as soon as the load has been delivered so that you're not chasing paperwork all over the place, right? It makes life a little bit easier. Usually makes life a little bit easier for you. And you just scan it into a document. There's no TransFlow drop off. Some people still do that. That's crazy to me because we've done this for so many years. And I remember back in forever ago, you'd have the TransFlow drop off box, or you'd have the scanners at the truck stops where you'd have to wait in line forever to scan the documents. You remember? They still do that? I didn't even know that. All right. I have brought up our safety bonus and our scorecard bonus a couple of times. I want to take a second to call out our driver of the months for September. So September, the reason September is because, like I said, we do our payouts for the bonuses. All those are figured out the third pay period of the month following when it ran it. So that was Monday. But after that, we take a look and we compare the scorecards, and we compare the safety scores, and we compare the miles, and we compare the productivity and everything of all of our drivers. Just when I say productivity, I mean like revenue and everything, like, and extra effort and attaboys and all of those things. Attaboys are like, you've gone extra, you helped us out in tough situations. We've got that information is usually shared many times throughout the company, saying, hey, did you know so-and-so did this? This is so awesome. He saved us, like, great up. He was there and and took care of it for us. Anyways, those are all things that are factored in on driver of the month. You can earn driver of the month one time within the 12-month calendar year. So we have 2 more drivers of the month actually 3, because that one's going to be announced in January. But we have one. You can only be driver of the month one time within the calendar year. Okay, from there you can be nominated multiple times. And then you go through all the criteria and votes and all that stuff. Okay, so that said, once you've completed, or once we have chosen the driver of the month, we have one for every division. We have one for our over-the-road refrigerated. We have one for our more regional refrigerated and van division. We have one for our regional flatbed, and then our over-the-road flatbed. And then we have an owner-operator lease purchase division as well. Some of those divisions are larger than other divisions, like our Midwest refrigerated dry van division. That's more of our regional division. That one's our largest division. So we actually have 2 nominees to celebrate and recognize, and still one winner, right? You still have the top dog of the month. But in some of the divisions, like our owner-operator lease purchase division, that isn't one of our biggest divisions. I think we have around 80 in that division. And so we don't have nominees in that division. It's just one winner. Anyways, we recognize them each month. The winners per division get a $100 Walmart gift card and a $50 gift card to the Decker store, so you can get some cool, I want to say swag, merch. Have they changed the word for that now? You can get stuff. Whatever is cool to you. At our company store, which we do have an online version as well. But if you're a nominee, you also get a $50 Walmart gift card and a gift from the Decker store that Steph will send out to you. So, speaking of send out, did everybody get their gifts for Driver Appreciation Day? For all of our professional drivers, did you guys get them? A lot of you, it was actually prizes because names were drawn. We had 200 some drivers who had their names drawn for those prizes. And there were awesome prizes out of there. If you haven't, and you know that your name was drawn, please reach out to Steph. She's extension 2000 to make sure that we can either schedule a pickup for you or mail it to you one way or the other. Some of them are large. Like if you got a chair, it'd be great if you could pick that up. I mean, the chairs, the fold away lawn chairs are really nice. Really nice. Okay, anyways, let's talk about these winners. So our over-the-road refrigerated dry van division, winner is, I announced it yesterday, so no news to them, but Eric Price. Eric Price won the over-the-road refrigerated dry van division, and Merle Curry won the Midwest dry van refrigerated division. So congratulations to both of you. Our over-the-road flatbed division winner is Ronald Merle. So congrats, Ronald. And our more regional Midwest flatbed division winner, Devin Crockruft. So congratulations to Devin. And Ashley Smith is our owner-operator lease purchase winner for the month of September. Yes, congratulations. David Bodle, Steve Alliger, Sean Swallow, and Larry Dew were our runner-ups for the month of September. So congrats, you guys. Okay, those driver of the months, the winners, not the nominees, but the winners, go into a running for driver of the year. And the closer we get to the end of the year, the more exciting it is, because we kind of follow along to see what their scorecard and their safety bonuses have been, to see if we can guess who's going to be the top, right? So you've got the driver of the years, let me rephrase. You got the driver of the month, right? You get a prize there. You get a $100 Visa gift or Walmart gift card plus $50 gift card to the Decker store. And then you get another prize if you win the driver of the year for the division. So we have 5 different divisions, same division breakdown, right? And you can only be chosen driver of the year if you earned driver of the month, which again, you can only earn one time within the calendar year. So you can be a runner-up multiple times, but only earn driver of the year or driver of the month one time. You can earn driver of the year back-to-back years, but only driver of the month one time within the 12-month calendar year. Okay, so then from the driver of the year, if you won driver of the year, you get an extra $3,000 bonus. Plus, we love to do a big event for it. So, our big company party, that's basically when it is. And like I said, not everybody can make it because I know a lot of people are working. I haven't been there for the last several years. I think 19 was the last time I was there for it. But again, I'm out of Montana. But there's, it's still one of our biggest events. I kind of man it from behind because we broadcast it. It is awesome. I mean, even just watching the live event is awesome. So we recognize all of our driver of the months and our driver of the years for each division. We announce our grand champion, which is like the grand poobah of everybody for the year. And that's a $15,000 prize. And then we also recognize all our million-mile, our 2 million mile earners for the year, our 3 million, our 4 million. I mean, we've had I think the biggest one we've had is 5 million for recognition. I mean, we just have a great opportunity. In the last couple of years, we've got to celebrate the best fleets to drive for during that ceremony as well. We've got to celebrate some amazing safety awards that we've received. Some of our professional drivers get to because they earned it, the National Truck Driving Championships. So in Indianapolis this last year, we had Todd Overson. He got to participate. This was his first year participating. And Lyle Turville, he participated this year as well. Both of them in August participated in the National Truck Driving Championships. Lyle's from Montana. He won the Montana competition, and Todd won one of the Iowa competitions. And then you get to go into the national. So very exciting. Dean Fillmore and Lyle, they represented us last year and the year before that. Is that right? Or maybe the year before. I'm trying to remember which. One year they didn't have it because of COVID. I think it was in 20, but I'm assuming it was in 20. And other than that, we've had quite a few participate. Lyle's participated several years, but anyways, we get to award those. We recognize all of our Highway Angels. So all of those who have earned our Highway Angel Awards, which that is a heck of an achievement. What the Highway Angel is, do you guys know what that is? You're recognized for a good deed out on the road. We have had people, some of our professional drivers, they've stopped to help people who are caught in burning vehicles, or they're trucks or their vehicles have rolled and they've come to help get them out and help protect them. We've had a professional driver save somebody off of a bridge one time once they had jumped in. I mean, there's the Highway Angel Award is a very prestigious award that you earn because you've done something that mattered. Like you cared enough for somebody else to step up and go beyond a comfort level. Andrew Hasty is a good one to recognize for that. He this last year, was it April? I was trying to remember. That put his fireman skills to the use, right? He was able to step in and help. But we've had several of our professional drivers who have earned the Highway Angel Award, and that's quite an accomplishment. Not of Deckers, quite an accomplishment of the individual professional driver. So, but we definitely got to brag about them because it's a wonderful thing to have someone like that representing us. Okay, so what else? Lots of awards in those. We'll recognize our driver leaders, and like I said, lots of awards that we had: the Tyson Award and Discartes Award. Just any of the awards that we've earned throughout the year, we recognize and share during our awards ceremony. I keep calling it our driver award ceremony, but it's really a Decker award ceremony because even though most of those who are awarded are professional drivers, some of them are the company itself, safety recognition, some of them are our driver leaders and techs. We have a lot of techs. Shout out to those of our professional techs who earned quite a few awards as well. So, yeah. All right. I have bent your ear long enough. I thank you so much for joining me today, but we will be back. I'll be back on next Tuesday at noon Central for our live Q&A then, and I'll also be on our Facebook page. I go live every Monday at 4 p.m. Central on our Facebook. So you can ask your questions there or just reach out to our recruiters at 877-433-2537. They'll answer your questions for you, and either way, we'll take good care of you. You guys have an awesome rest of your day. Hopefully the weather stays absolutely beautiful. If not, make sure you're prepared. It is about that time of year where you need to make sure that you've got the additive in the truck just in case, or you've got some extra supplies, some winter gear. You got to be carrying your chains. That's a you call. You need to know how to do it, but whether or not you do is up to you. They're used to get out of trouble, not into trouble. I say that over and over. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your week. We will talk to you soon, and stay safe.